Viewer discretion is advised, so please do not watch this shit if you are under the age of 13. Hello everybody of YouTube, Geekish Boy coming back at you with another video. And in today's video I'll be explaining how I made this pod for Star Wars The Black Series, the child action figure. Now if you're like me, you have the figure, and when it's sitting next to Mando, it looks good, but it doesn't quite sell the look. Of course, most of the season he's in his pod. And of course, if you want to get Mando holding him, it does look a bit awkward. So in this video, I will be explaining how I created this pod and how you guys could create your own. Now let's get to the materials you will need to create this. Here are all of the materials that you are going to need in order to create the child's pod. First off, you're going to need a plastic Easter egg. This will be the body of the build. Next, some sanding paper, an X-Acto knife. Make sure it's fairly sharp. And if you are a younger person who is trying to do this, I heavily suggest that you get your parents' permission or parents' help to do this, as this part is pretty tedious. I do not have them on screen, but lastly, you will need some thin craft foam and some super glue to put it all together. Now, once you have all of those materials, you can get started. Now, what I did is that I took the front part of the Easter egg and cut it off. Once you have done this, you are going to want to cut it mostly in half, not directly in half, but you are just going to want to cut off, yeah, basically mostly half of it. Now, I would use a very sharp X-Acto for this. Do not use scissors or clippers or anything like that, because this kind of Easter egg material, it is very brittle and could break and crack easily, and that's the last thing that you are going to want. So please do use the X-Acto knife, and like I said, if you are younger or a child, then get parents' permission and or help. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to take some sandpaper and you're going to want to just kind of smooth it out, make sure that it's completely flat like I've done here. Now, it gets pretty simple from here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your super glue and you're going to want to super glue that piece, or the two pieces of the Easter egg together. After that, you're going to want to take your craft foam and make all the details, such as this lip right here. And this part back here actually isn't 100% accurate. I do suggest putting it more so this way rather than it kind of arcing back. But I just put that there for detail along with this bottom piece. I believe this is accurate, and this actually helps hold the two pieces of the egg together. You're going to want to super glue all this, as the craft foam does not hold to hot glue very well. After that, as you can see, for the hinges, I have used these plastic beads that I just ended up painting silver and then gluing on there. However, I do suggest that you do this part last, as you are going to need to paint it, of course, white. I started off with the gray primer, then masked off just a couple of areas, then painted it white. And if we flip it around, as you can see, creates this nice kind of damaged look throughout the entire build. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, I do have this just on a piece of wire that I bent in those little holes of the Easter egg. Now, you are going to, of course, want to glue on your silver bits. And what I ended up doing, and this is the last step, this is optional, but I had did some black washing on this. So really what I did is I just painted on some black and then immediately took it off, and that left some of it on there just to make it look dirty, as when we see the first pod in The Mandalorian, it is pretty beat. Now, you could stop here, but I suggest that you don't, because Baby Yoda, I guess what you could call him, or the child, has this brown blanket inside of his pod. Now, all I did was just took some cheap brown cloth, cut up a small bit of it, and put it in there. This not only sells the look for the blankets, but it also helps secure Baby Yoda. As you can see, while spinning it around and whatnot, he does not move that much. And that is really about it for making the Baby Yoda pod, or the. And overall, this pod does make a nice addition for the child figure, as again it was small and just standing up, it didn't really sell the look. Like I said, I do have it on this wire stand, but if you could find some sort of clear plastic tube or whatever, that would work just as fine. And yeah, next to the Mandalorian, I think it does look really well, and it'll especially look good whenever that Beskar Mandalorian comes out. And that is it for the video. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see other geeky content, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified every single time I post a video, hit that bell icon. And I will see you all in the next video.